The writer sits in his office, stuck pondering an impossible task, building a favorite fictional character who builds the world they inhabit, translating the literal into metaphor to manifest the truth from a lie, defining what is a characteristic of the narrative and what is the narrative of the character. One question lingers. Why does Alan wear a suit when he's writing?
I don't know what we're talking about, and I haven't for a while.
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need to write. I mean, that's my goal with all of these. How can they be done if I don't write? But when you hear this, it's already written, so I'm done already. Cool. Next, we need the light to cut through the darkness, like a little bit of mustard cuts through the richness of a Mornay sauce. Finally, we have to rearrange reality around us, somehow. I'm a staunch advocate of players impacting the narrative of a D&D game, but this is some next level stuff. For stats, we'll be using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just keep your multi-classing minimums in mind. Charisma will be number 1. I think a lot of people attribute writing skills with intelligence, but it's equal parts, if not more, charisma-based. Sentence structure, persuasive language, and pervasive language, all charisma. Wisdom next, writing is also observing. Dexterity after that, penmanship is all about flourish, and you have to dodge a bunch of shadow monsters, so your AC should be pretty good. Follow that up with intelligence. It's definitely part of writing, but hey, you're famous for writing detective novels. It's not the Iliad. Constitution is a bit low. Alan can take a hit or two, but these are horror games, which means it's literally a hit or two. We'll dump strength. Every problem could be solved if Alan was simply strong enough to punch Mr. Scratch out of himself. Alan is a human, maybe also a god considering he sculpts the world to his will, but we'll cover that with the abilities. For your feat, Observant gives you +1 to your intelligence or wisdom, will do wisdom, +5 to your passive intelligence and wisdom, and you can read lips. The first step to being a great writer is being a great reader of lips. Honestly, there just aren't that many feats we would need for Alan. I know Gunner is a feat, but Alan does not reload quickly. So, no Gunner. And you end up doing a lot of detective work. In a way, you take on the role of Alex Casey in your story about yourself. By the way, RIP, James McCaffrey. Bump your charisma and your dexterity with your 2 free points. For your skills, I think perception and investigation would be useful for an author, but we'll grab performance for your skill of choice as a human. You have to know the steps to the dance that summarizes the first 2 games you were in. Old Gods of Asgard are the Utada of Alan Wake, and Champion of Light is the Melody of Memory. So Kingdom Hearts build, I love it. We'll kick things off as a bard for 3 skills from the bard list, also known as every skill in the game. Persuasion, acrobatics, and medicine. Persuasion is to write word good. Acrobatics is to break the shadow grapples, and medicine turns band-aids into effective healing. For your cantrips, Dancing Light makes a bunch of small flittering lights. The light spell is also on the bard list, but hang on, we'll get there. Message lets you send a message to someone within 120 feet of you, and they can send a message back. Just send a sly little text to Barry. Prestidigitation lets you do a bunch of small things, like make small objects. That's probably the one that's the most important. It gets us started manifesting things with light. Wait, never mind, you can also warm or cool beverages, so your coffee's always the perfect temperature. That's writing fuel right there. Vicious Mockery lets you insult darkness monsters, forcing a wisdom saving throw on a creature, dealing a d4 of psychic damage if they fail, and giving them disadvantage on their next attack roll. Talk shit? Don't get hit. Speaking of, Silvery Barbs will also let you turn a phrase effectively, giving a creature disadvantage on an attack roll, saving throw, or ability check, and giving a creature advantage on one of those if they fail. Save Barry if Barry is the physically tangible Barry who needs to live, not the figment of your imagination Barry. Identify is pretty important, telling you what magical items do and how many charges they have left. If it works with charges, definitely good to know how many flashlights you can use. 3 charges? What is it, a Nintendo Switch? Longstrider will help you outrun things. Honestly, one of the best strategies to conserve flashlight and ammo. Just go 10 feet faster by hitting the legs. Finally, get Heroism to give a creature immunity to fear and temporary HP equal to your charisma modifier every turn. Diving deep into your own writing is scary. Writers call that revising, and Alan Wake is a perfect representation of how harrowing that process is. Of course, bards also get bardic inspiration, a pool of d6s equal to your charisma modifier you can hand out to allies to add to their ability checks, saving throw, or attack rolls. Alan generally works alone, but sometimes you get a buddy. We'll get useful solo stuff in a second. First, we need light, and where better to get it than as a light domain cleric. With that, you get the light cantrip for free, which is pretty perfect for a flashlight. Ooh, it's a magical flashlight. Yeah, so is Alan's. You can also use Warding Flare to give disadvantage to an enemy attacking you as a reaction, an amount of times equal to your wisdom modifier per long rest. All your cleric spells are going to use your wisdom modifier, but you're basically going to be getting spell slots like you're a single casting class. Unless we get weird later. We're not gonna get weird later. Well, not weirder than cleric, bard, multi-class. That's already pretty weird. For bard cantrips, we'll get guidance and resistance, d4s to add to ability checks, and saving throws. Things tend to go better for you as the author of your own story. Unless you were filled with self-loathing and co-writing a story with the physical manifestation of everything evil and that self-loathing, then they might not. It's good to have guidance and resistance for that. Sacred Flame forces a dexterity saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they take a d8 of radiant damage. You can even shine that light around corners and ignore all but full cover, which is how light kind of works. Just spills out. Fairy Fire is a free first level spell from Light Domain Cleric, forcing a dexterity saving throw on creatures in a cube. Failing that, creatures have advantage on attack rolls against them, and they can't turn invisible to fade into the darkness. Guiding Bolt is a ranged spell attack that deals 4d6 radiant damage and gives the next attacker advantage on their attack when they attack that same target. Pretty 1-for-1 with the flashlight, honestly, like dealing damage and letting you shoot them. I thought this would be hard. It's going pretty smoothly. Detect Magic lets you sense magical auras and figure out what type of magic is causing them. I think transmutation's probably what we're looking for. Maybe illusion? I'm not sure. Finally, a simple Cure Wounds wouldn't hurt. It literally does the opposite, healing 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier to a creature you touch. You might be touching yourself, but to be fair, Alice isn't in the dark place. Oh, she could give you medical attention. Get your heads out of the gutter. I think we're just going to keep trucking down this light cleric path. Second level, you get a channel divinity to either turn undead, forcing a wisdom saving throw on undead creatures and forcing them to dash away if they fail. Low HP means even a couple of taken could taken you down. Or you could use Radiance of the Dawn, forcing a constitution saving throw on hostile creatures within 30 feet of you, dealing 2d10 plus your cleric level in radiant damage on a failed saving throw, half as much on a successful one. Literally just drop a flare next to you. Sometimes that's the move. Third level clerics can learn second level spells. Augury lets you know how something is going to go in the next 30 minutes of in-universe time. The DM will tell you if it's going to go wheel or if there will be woe, or both or neither. Hard for the DM to say, but you're kind of the DM of your own story, so maybe you already know. Fourth level clerics get an ability score improvement. Let's go for wisdom first, I think, just because we're doing the cleric levels first. Speaking of, let's grab a spell called Continual Flame that makes a little light that never goes out. It's the Smith's spell. Set it up in a little office with some coffee and take a break. Just remember, if you come back to the game a week later, you might have to relearn the controls. Didn't happen to anyone I know. Fifth level clerics can destroy undead with Turn Undead if the undead are challenge rating 1/2 or less. Lots of mobs. Dropping a flare could be pretty great. You can also learn third level spells, and Matt and Kim would love Daylight, which you get for free as a Light Domain Cleric. It makes a 60-foot radius light that dispels darkness created by spells of level 2 or lower, and it works great if your DM loves the flavor mechanics of the world. If your DM doesn't, try Fireball instead. It forces a dexterity saving throw on creatures in a 20-foot radius sphere, dealing 8d6 fire damage to those that fail, half as much to those that succeed. Darkness can only be defeated by the light, or being blown the hell up. Maybe try that. Dispel Magic removes an effect of a spell of 3rd level or lower automatically, and higher level spells with a wisdom check of 10 plus the spell's level. It's like Remove Curse, but more vague, and works on a bunch more spells. 6th level light clerics get improved flare, letting you use your warding flare to help other friendly creatures. If you want to team up with Barry, and hey, who doesn't want to hang out with Barry? Remove Curse is like a less vague version of Dispel Magic, because it's only for curses, but sometimes you need to remove a curse, and packing both doesn't really hurt. That's enough light stuff for now. Let's get back to writing. True writing tradition, getting distracted and forgetting to write. Bard 2, you get Song of Rest, letting you and allies heal an extra d6 as you take your short rests. It could be a better brew of coffee or putting on some Old Gods of Asgard. You also get Jack of All Trades to add half your proficiency bonus to skill checks you're not proficient with. If you want to get better as a writer, go start living. You gotta live a life and do a little bit of everything. For this level spell, let's grab Thunder Wave. It forces a Constitution saving throw on creatures in a 15-foot cube, dealing 2d8 thunder damage to those that fail. But feel free to upcast it for an extra d8 per spell level. When you start making words with the light, a lot of those words are kaboom, onomatopoeia, more like Shimon onomatopoeia till I kaboom. Third level bards get expertise to double your proficiency bonus with 2 skills. We'll go for investigation and perception to make sure you don't miss your clues. You can also choose a bardic college like the College of Creation to get that American Nightmare word creation thing going with performance of creation, to make an item of medium or smaller that's worth less than 20 times your bard level in gold. Once per long rest for free, and then you can do it with 2nd level slots if you want to make the words real. You also get Motive Potential, boosting your inspiration die in a few different ways depending on how it's used. If your buddy uses it for an ability check, they have advantage on that roll. If they use it on an attack roll, the creature also takes thunder damage equal to the bard's roll, If they fail a Constitution saving throw, that's the best take you're getting. I screwed that up for 2 minutes straight. That's just not a fun one to read out loud. And if they use it for a saving throw, they get temporary HP equal to the inspiration die plus your charisma modifier. Now Barry's gonna be even more of a beast. Barry build when. Speaking of Barry, if you're trying to light things up at an Old Gods of Asgard concert, grab the Pyrotechnic spell, which explodes an existing light to either blind creatures in an area or make smoke. You don't want this smoke. You want the light. 4th level bards get an ability score improvement. Let's work on that charisma now that we're actually investing in bard. For this level spell, borrowed knowledge lets you give yourself proficiency with a skill you're not proficient with. Just write it into your backstory. It's a late addition, but writing is revising. 5th level bards get a font of inspiration, so your inspiration die recover on short rests instead of long rests, and they're d8s too. Isn't that neat? You also get 3rd level spells like sending to send a message of 25 words or less to another creature on the same plane or another plane with a 5% failure rate. It's probably why you have some trouble talking to Saga every once in a while. 6th level bards get animating performance, letting you turn a large or smaller object into a dancing item. That stat block is with the College of Creation. It's kind of finicky to explain, but it's an ally, and you can give it your inspiration die, so finally we have something for that. Now, what is this for Alan Wake? It's Barry, baby! Imaginary Barry Wheeler. Imagine Barry in Fortnite Springs. For this level spell, Catnap lets you get a short rest off in 10 minutes instead of an hour, resetting a bunch of your bardic abilities with a nice thermos of coffee. Coffee shouldn't help you sleep, but if it does, you might be, pretty cool. Lots of writers are pretty cool. 7th level bards can learn 4th level spells. Freedom of movement helps you avoid grapples, paralyzation, and you can even break out of non-magical shackles with 5 feet of movement. I just don't want to get grappled. I'm bad at mashing X. 8th level bards get another ability score improvement. Cap that charisma modifier for maximum bard spells, since we're more of a bard than we are a champion of light at this point. For this level spell, Phantasmal Killer is another way for Barry Wheeler, baby, forcing a wisdom saving throw on a creature. Failing that, they're chased by an illusory version of their worst fear, a literary agent, and take 4d10 psychic damage and are frightened as he chases them about. You can't boost this one with inspiration die, so I'd go for the animated performance, but we had the room and I'm never going to turn down Barry Wheeler. 9th level bards can learn 5th level spells. Legend lore lets you know about a person, place, or thing of legendary renown, like Alex Casey, to know how the story of Alex Casey works when you're in the Alex Casey role of the Alex Casey story you're writing to escape the dark place. Simple and clean. 10th level bards get expertise in 2 more skills, performance and acrobatics, to really hit those dance moves to champion of light. Your inspiration die bumps up to a d10, and you can also use magical secrets to learn 2 spells from any class. Contact other plane lets you make a DC 15 intelligence saving throw. Failing that, you take 6d6 psychic damage and get lost in the sauce until you take a long rest. But if you succeed, you can talk to someone on another plane. Feels kind of weird to use it to reach the material plane. I would maybe just try sending a couple of times. There's really no reason not to use sending over this. There's definitely more than a 5% chance you're going to fail a DC 15 intelligence save. But this one's specifically for other planes, so I put it on here. Stone Shape lets you rearrange a section of stone to make a tunnel. It's kind of the closest thing we can get to the lamp changing your environment. That's pretty weird shit. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that any other way. I'm sorry. 11th level bards get 6th level spells. We'll go for Find the Path to find the most direct path, even if it's not the safest. Over and over again, Alan's like, this is going to be dangerous, but it has to fit the genre of the story. Hey, Alan, quick note. Why? Just try it. Just try writing it. Try writing, and then my flashlight turned into a rocket launcher, and Alice showed up with magic kisses that made everything better, and we all got cinnamon rolls. Try writing that down. 12th level bards get another ability score improvement. Work on that wisdom now for more flares and better cleric spells. 13th level bards can learn 7th level spells, and remember how I said we didn't have anything for changing the world with your writing? Well, revision. It's Mirage Arcane. That changes how 1 square mile looks, smells, feels, and you can even make small changes in the terrain. It takes a little longer at around 10 minutes to cast than just like clicking a lamp, but it's the only way to really re-sculpt the world by changing the narrative. Our capstone is the 14th level of Bard, where creation bards get creative crescendo, letting you make 2 objects with your performance of creation instead of 1, and there's no gold limit, so make, literally whatever you need. Get creative, that's the idea. You also get more magical secrets like plane shift to finally escape the dark place. You get to go to another plane. Hopefully no one comes with you. And finally, Summon Celestial brings in a Celestial to help you with some big radiant damage. This is Diver Zane, not the Zane that's basically your nobody. I mean, it's the same Zane, but it isn't. I don't know, this is getting heady. Let's talk to the pros. First, you are loaded with utility spells and have expertise in 4 skills to solve problems in ways that aren't damage. Not that your damage is bad, with some big radiant options to destroy the darkness if you need to. Finally, you're great at support. You'd be a great team player if you could ever, be on a team, ever. For weaknesses, the multi-classing stopped us from getting the wisdom and charisma we needed for 2 max casting modifiers. Oh, hey, why do you have 2 casting modifiers? That's not a good idea. Finally, you're squishy with low constitution and D8 hit die classes, meaning that you're gonna get kind of rolled over if you have to fight anything better than a shadow. But that's fine, because you've got the ultimate tank, Barry Wheeler, baby! Show them the champion of light and defeat them with the power of satisfying narratives. Just watch out for bigger threats that could open the door to some painful places. Wait, door? Keyblade! Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We're making videos. Join the Patreon to support the channel and follow us on Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.